as Lanting College, and I am a incoming grade 12 Humanities and Social Sciences student. So, hello everyone. I was tasked to tutor you about poetry. So, for today's lesson, I hope you enjoy my discussion later, and I hope you'll get a refresher about this topic, about all about poetry, its elements, its types, and what makes up a poetry. Okay, so if it's not bad or if it's not in your liking, don't answer. But if I may start with a question, when you see the word or when you hear poetry, what comes to your mind? Sorry, I usually start my discussions with that kind of questioning. So kindly use the chat back box to answer my question, and I will read it momentarily. So the question for today is, what comes to your mind when you hear the art form? Since poetry is an art form, what comes to your mind when you hear poetry? Okay, now we'll start the discussion proper. Okay. Oof. Wait, ayan. So what is poetry? Well, yeah. Thank you, Mike, for that answer. Yeah, poems. Let me get it straight. Now, poetry is the art form, and poems are the output of poetry, and poets are what you call the authors or the creators of poems. Poems or in wait, let's first define what poetry is. Sorry. Thank you for that answer, Mike. Poetry, according to the Oxford dictionaries, it is a literary work in which a special intensity is given to the expression of feelings and ideas by the use of distinctive style and rhythm. Poems collectively or as a genre of literature. So according to the Oxford dictionaries, that poetry is a noun. It is a literary work with special intensity. It means that by saying in special intensity, it gives an emphasis to the expression of feelings and ideas. By what? But in what means does poetry use words to give to give special emphasis or intensity to the expression of your feelings or ideas as a poet? Simply by using distinctive style and rhythm, which we will tackle later on. Okay? And of course, we all know that as we all know, if that's not a hasty generalization, poetry uses rhythms. No, we'll also discuss later on what is rhythm or rhyming. Okay, now that is according to Oxford dictionaries. According to Britannica.com, poetry is a kind of literature. It is a kind of literature that evokes concentrated, imaginative awareness of experience or a specific emotional response through language chosen and arranged for its meaning, sound, and rhythm. Again, we will see that both definitions from Oxford and Britannica.com has a common denominator. And what is that? It is by using the word literary work, literature, and of course the meaning. If here in the Britannica they use the word meaning, in the Oxford definition they use the word expression. Okay, so there's a correlation between these definitions. So by there's another definition, don't worry. So these two first definitions will give you a glimpse of what poetry is. It is a piece of literature in which you can express your feelings and ideas, in which through, no, when I say through, the means of doing it is by meaning, sound, and rhythms. Okay? So another definition. Wait. Ayan. According to Webster's dictionary naman, the language of imagination expressed in verse. Okay. If we will go back to Britannica's definition of poetry, they say that it is a kind of literature that evokes a concentrated imaginative awareness of experience or specific emotional response. And according to Webster's dictionary, it is the language of imagination expressed in verse. Later on, we will tackle what is this verses in poetry. Okay? Or stanzas. No? That is the clue later on. And as I said earlier on, poetry can be defined as literature in metrical form or a composition forming rhythmic lines. What do we mean by literature, no, in metrical form? What is literature by metrical form? It is a written work, no? How do I say this? Wait. A metrical form by definition, it it requires a beat. Okay? It requires a beat, a certain beat. There is a metric. It can be quantifiable, no? If I'm not mistaken, by metrical form. Or a composition forming rhythmic lines. And later on, we will discuss what these rhythmic lines are. And then, a poem follows a particular flow of rhythm and meter. Again, ito na yung magiging clue natin. Why is poetry defined as a literature in metrical form? Because there is a rhythm and a meter. No? If we can correlate it with music, there is a meter in music. Therefore, it is also a metrical form of art. Okay? Do you all get the definition of poetry, or is there any questions whatsoever about the definition of poetry according to Oxford, Webster's, and Britannica.com? Okay. Actually, I encourage all of you to please take notes while I am discussing the slides. So there will be 66 slides. I will send it later on, but be ready for our mini quiz later. So yeah. Okay. If there's no questions whatsoever, let's proceed to the next slide. Okay. Ayan. Ay, sorry. Meron pa pala. Compared to a prose or prosa, oh, shucks. Sorry. Ayan. Compared to a prose where there is no such restriction, mamaya natin itatalakay yung prose or yung prosa na tinatawag. The content of a piece, no, flows according to a story. A poem may not have a story, but definitely has a structured method of writing. We all know that each kind of literature follows a specific structured method of writing. Okay, when you write, let's say, when you write a novel, you write a novel narratively. Am I not right? Can somebody agree in the meeting? Let's see if yeah. Thank you, Mika. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, KZ. Now, in poetry also follows a structured method of writing. Okay? And that is what we call as the elements of a poetry, or what composes a poetry. What composes a poetry to be called a poem? Now, the first element, the elements of poetry, it can be defined by a set of instruments used to create a poem. Again, poetry is the literature. Poem is the output of poetry. Okay? Am I clear? Yan. Thank you. Now, many of these were created thousands of years ago. There are poetry, no? Let me remind all of you that poetry, the definition of poetry or the restrictions for poetry may be different from one country to another, because poetry may be different in China and it may be different in Japan. Okay? Later on, we will discuss different kind of poetries. So poetries have been used thousands of years ago and have been linked to ancient storytellings. Okay? They help bring imagery and emotion to poetry, stories, and dramas into an imaginative way. Okay? You use poetry to link, no, before. In the ancient times, or 1,000 of years ago, in the ancient civilizations in which arts is also a form of endearment to their civilizations. Okay, the ancient Egyptians have a poetry, the Babylonians has a poetry, the ancient Romans has poetries, the ancient Chinese has poetry. It differs, no, in each culture. But still, they have this common elements in which we will tackle today. This is not entirely only on the English poetry, but also in the poetry of other countries. So now again, as we said earlier, poetry, according to the Webster's definition, is an imaginative way of telling a story. And it is divided, or it is told through lines. The unit of lines in poetry is called stanza, or in Tagalog we call it taludtod. 'Di ba? It's taludtod in Tagalog. Ang stanza in Tagalog is what we call the taludtod. Now, what is stanza? It is a unit of lines grouped together, similar to a paragraph in prose. In prose kasi, they use paragraph, okay? In prose or prosa, you use paragraph and not stanza. Okay? Because a prose is just a, how do I say this? It's just a written or spoken language, no? Ordinary form, walang metric system na sinusunod. Unlike in poetry, which we have a metricular form that we use, meters, rhythms, etc. Now, a stanza or a line consists of two or more lines of poetry that together form one of the divisions of poetry. Ngayon, ipapakita ko sa inyo kung paano nga ba i-identify ang stanza. Kasi may iba't ibang klase ng stanza. Now, the stanzas of a poem are usually of the same length and follow the same pattern of meter and rhyme and are used like paragraphs in a story. Excuse me. So, stanza is usually of the same length. Magkakaparehas lang sila ng haba. And they follow the same pattern, they follow the same beat. No, kapag nagbabasa tayo ng poetry, nakikita natin na ang poems or ang mga tula, the poems, have this beat. Like for example, ako'y tutula mahabang mahaba, ako'y upo, tapos na po. There is a particular beat in that poem. Am I right or not? Can somebody agree in the meeting? Yeah, thank you for agreeing with me, everyone. So, that is what you call the stanza. Now, ano Abby? Ayan. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself earlier. My nickname is Abby, so you can call me Abby. Abby, what is a stanza? Okay, for example, I'll give muna an example, ha? Ayan. In this, i-disregard nyo muna yung couplet na yan. Mamaya, itatalakay natin yan once na nasabi ko itong example. So, for this example, I think that I shall never see a poem is lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the sweet earth's flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. Now, ano dyan yung stanza? Okay. This is stanza. I think that I shall never see. This is stanza A. A poem is lovely as a tree. Stanza B. Okay? This is an example. Disregard nyo muna yung mga letter dito kasi mamaya ituturo ko yan sa inyo. This is just for the sake of example. Okay? For setting an example. So this is what you call, this one line here is the stanza. Okay? Do we get it, everyone? Or am I too fast in explaining it? Ayan. Thank you. So that is a stanza. Now, what is the different kinds of stanza? Because for the sake of formality, hindi uniform lahat ng tula. Okay? Shit. Ayan. Some different types of stanza is as follows. Okay. Now, yung pinakita kong example kanina, yung tree, is an example of a couplet. Why is it a couplet? Ito yung tula or poems that has only two lines, which usually rhyme. Okay? There are only two stanzas in two lines. What is a couplet? Let's go back. So this is what you call a couplet. There is two There is only 2 lines and there are only 2 stanzas. Okay? Let's read. I think that I shall never see. A poem is lovely as a tree. That is 1 stanza. If I'm not mistaken. Yan. That is 2 stanzas in 1 line. Okay? Again. Sorry. Couplets are stanzas of only 2 lines. It is a kind of stanza in which there are only 2 lines, which is this. Line A, line A. There is only 2 lines, okay, in this stanza. Okay? So in a couplet, there is only, what? 2 lines, which usually rhymes. Okay? Let's read it again. A couplet are stanzas of 2 lines. Only has 2 lines. We count that line by this. Okay? Ayan, 1 line yan. Ito, 2, 2nd line. So that is a couplet. From the word of couple. Couple. Couplet. Okay, which means 2. Okay? So that is a couplet. There is another kind of stanza that we call tercets. Okay? Now, what is tercet? Let me just zoom. Yan. So, again, this is in an increasing order. So, by now, I think you have an idea what a tercet is. A tercet is stanzas of 3 lines. Kung kanina yung couplet is 2 lines, a stanza of 2 lines, now this stanza has 3 lines. Okay? The 3 lines may or may not have the same end rhyme. Pwedeng nagra-rhyme yung huli or not. Okay? If all 3 lines rhyme, it is called a triplet. Okay? Paano yun? So, merong rule dito. Kapag daw ang tercets is nagra-rhyme, lahat ng end, ito, gaya nito, ang tawag sa kanila ay triplet. Because all end words rhyme. Write, kite, recite. Plain, same, game, fun, done, mom. Okay? So this tercet, this example tercet here is what we call my tercet triplet. Okay? A triplet. Okay? Because all ending words are rhyming. Let me read to you this example tercet. Tercets are very fun to write. Talk about a friend or a kite. They are even fun to recite. One can rhyme or stay plain. Either way, they are the same. Maybe try to make it into a game. Just start one up and it might be fun. Do not stop until you are done. After, show it to your mom. So as you see, may tatlong linya na bumubuo sa stanza na to. Okay? Do you get what a tercet is? Okay, very good. Please tell me in the chat box if I'm going too fast. Now, to give you an example kung anong itsura ng isang tercet pag hindi siya triplet. This is an example of a tercet that is not under the category of triplet. It means hindi nagra-rhyme yung huling words of each line. Flamboyant, slap, fly. Nagre-rhyme po ba siya? Yes or no? Can I have an agree or disagree? Nagre-rhyme siya? Kindly, okay. Again, ang example na pinakita ko kanina is an example of triplet. It means nagra-rhyme yung mga last words ng per line, okay? Yun yung meaning ng triplet. Perfect yung rhyming niya. Kunwari, tall, fall, shall. Okay? Kunwari, yun yung last line niyan. It is a triplet. Since ito po, hindi siya nagra-rhyme, flamboyant, slap, fly. Do they rhyme? Very good, Reka. They don't rhyme. Therefore, they are not a triplet. Bagkus no? On the other hand, they are called only simply a tercet. Kasi nga, hindi nagra-rhyme perfectly kagaya nito yung ending words nila. Okay? That's for are tercets. Now, for the next naman tayo. Now, we have the quatrain. What is a quatrain? It is a stanza of 4 lines which can be written in any rhyme scheme. Mamaya tatalakayin natin kung ano yung tinatawag na rhyme scheme na yan. Now, again, alam nyo na, meron na kayong idea na ang stanzas is either increasing. Is increasing, no? From 2 lines, again 3 lines. Ngayon, excuse me. Now, we have the 4 lines that makes up a stanza. Okay. Let's read this poem or a quatrain. It is an ancient mariner, and he stoppeth one of 3. By thy long gray beard and glittering eye, now wherever stops thou me. The bridegroom's doors are opened wide, and I am next of kin. The guests are met, the feast is set, mayst hear the merry din. He holds him with his skinny hand, there was a ship, quoth he. Hold off and hand me gray bird loon, eftsoons his hand dropped he. Now, as you can see, may specific na mga, ano dyan, na mga lines yung nagra-rhyme. Ituturo ko yan mamaya pag nasa rhyme scheming na tayo. Now, for now, I'm encouraging you to screenshot this poem kasi mamaya gagawan natin siya ng rhyme scheme. Okay? Okay. Kung may time pa tayo mamaya. Now, so that is quatrain. There is 1, 2, 3, and 4 lines. There is 4 lines in the stanzas. Okay. Now, there is 2 types of quatrain. Oh yeah, there is 2 types of quatrains. There is the alternating quatrain. It has the 4-line stanza rhyming A, B, A, B. Okay? Mahirap pala dapat inuna natin yung rhyme scheme, pero sige. Mamaya mag-guess nyo yan. Screenshot nyo muna to. This part, yan. Para balikan natin mamaya. Thank you. Now, the alternating quatrain, it has 4-line, no, stanza rhyming A, B, A, B. Now, this is an example. Ano yung A, B, A, B na yan? Kasi sa rhyme scheming po, meron tayong rule na yung last word is dapat nagra-rhyme dun sa rhyme scheme or may sinusunod dapat na rhyme scheme. Hindi naman required na sunod-sunod dapat magkaka-rhyme yung ending words. Kunwari, ganito. The sense of danger must not disappear. That is A. But daw AB yung alternating quatrain ha. Ito yung dahilan kung bakit alternating quatrain. The sense of danger must not disappear. Let's give it an A, label A. The way is certainly both short and steep. Hindi magka-rhyme, di ba? So let's give it a B. However, gradual it looks from here. What does here rhymes with the previous word? Of course, it's disappear. Disappear here. They rhyme. So let's label it as A. Look, if you like, but you will have to leap. Does here and leap rhyme? Everyone, does here and the word here and leap rhyme? No. Very good. Therefore, we label it as B because if we look closely, it is steep and leap. Therefore, they rhyme. That's why they call it alternating quatrain. Because you can see that the end words of successive lines are not rhyming or does not rhyme. Therefore, you will label it according to the rhyme scheme. Therefore, their rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B. Because they have one successive line before you rhyme. Okay? Like here, disappear, 1 line, here. Okay? Then another, steep, 1 line, leap. Then you'll see that the rhyme is alternating. Okay? That's why they call it alternating quatrain. Again, bakit dito lang merong alternating na type? Kasi kapag tatlo yan, magiging odd number. Hindi natin pwedeng tawagin alternating. Diba? It's just merely purely common sense. So, ayun. Kasi na-realize ko din siya nung nire-review ko yung lesson. So, I just have to share it. Next, there is naman what you call the envelope stanza. Now, by this time, I think meron na kayong idea what an envelope stanza is just by looking at the example. Excuse me. Just by looking at our example. Okay? Wait. I'm sorry again. Sorry for the disruption. Again. So, by looking at this example, everyone, you have an idea of how an envelope stanza, works. How does it work? Okay. Since alam niyo na kanina paano yung rhyme scheming, i-discuss natin yan thoroughly later. So, ang envelope stanza is nagra-rhyme siya sa ABBA. Paano yung ABBA? Ganito yan. Yung lines 2 and 3, this is line 2 and 3. Saan ba yung marker dito? Hindi ko siya maano, shocks. Ayaw niya kasi full screen, so mahihirapan ako. Wait lang. Okay, wait lang. Let me... There! Okay. Kanina pa ako nang hihirap, buisit. Yan. So, yeah. Here. Here. As you can see... Oh, shucks. Ano ba ito? Ang ano? So here, as you can see, this word heap and leap, it rhymes, no? Yung line 1 at line 4 yung nagra-rhyme, pero hindi sila magkasunod. Ini-envelope nila, in the most sensible sense, yung line 2 and 3. Okay? Here, such that lines 2 and 3 are enclosed between lines 1 and 4. Two of these stanza make up the Italian octave used in Italian sonnet. So, nabuo itong envelope stanza because of the Italian octave na ginamit sa isang Italian sonnet. So, as you can clearly see here, yung line 1, basahin natin. The worried efforts of the busy heap, the dirt, the imprecision, and the beer. Produce a few smart wisecracks every year. Laugh if you can, but you will have to leap. So the words rhyming here is beer and year. That na-enclose kay heap and leap. Okay? That's why they call it envelope stanza. Because the line 2 and 3 are enclosed between 1 and 4. Kung saan si line 1 at line 4 yung nagra-rhyme. At si line 3 and line 3 and line 2 is nagra-rhyme. Okay? Ang tanging successive na rhyming lang is si line 2 and 3. Okay? Dahil nga pinagigitnaan niya si line 1 and 4. So I hope I explained it carefully. Next. Wait lang. Now, another element of a poem is what we call rhyme. It is the repetition of the same or similar sounds, usually stressed in syllables. Ano sabi dyan? Usually stressed syllables. Okay? Syllables at the end of lines. Shut. Sorry. So usually daw, it is... sorry. Clumsy naman, Abby. So, usually daw, syllables yung stress pagdating sa end of the lines. Alam ba natin kung anong syllable?
Go pa yan!
Okay. Syllables are beats. Sila yung paano ba to? Sila yung beat sa word. For example, si. Okay, let's have it. Sil, la, ball. Okay? Yun yung beat. Sil, la, ball. Okay? Pantig ata sa Tagalog yun, if I'm not mistaken eh. Syllables are pantig, right? Alright, I'm correct. Yeah, pantig sila sa Tagalog. So if you know what a pantig is syllables. So ini-stress daw sa poem yung mga pantig. Dan, sun, 'di ba? Run. Okay? You stress it for the rhyming to become obvious, para maging obvious na may rhyming na nangyayari sa poetry mo. Now, rhyming is the repetition of the same or similar, pareho or magkatulad na mga tunog. Now, rhythm is also the pattern of beats or stresses in a poem. For example, she, child, I, child. She was a child and I was a child. She was a child and I was a child. In this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. Okay? So may mga stress minsan sa poem. Pattern niya ng beats or pattern niya ng pagdug. Parang may ganun kasi yung tula eh. Meron siyang, it has a particular beat, no? For example again, ako'y tutula, mahabang mahaba, ako'y upo, tapos na po. You don't read a tula like, ako'y tutula, mahabang mahaba, ako'y upo, tapos na po. You don't read a poem like that. Diba? There is a particular beat. For example, let's go back to this example. And if you're gonna read a poem, you will emphasize its rhythm, the beat. No, you will not read a poem like this. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the sweet earth's flowing breast. You don't read poems like that. You emphasize the beat. That's why we have rhythms. Rhythms will emphasize the message of your poem. I will read it with stresses, no? With stress on each syllable. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the sweet earth's flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. So you can see I have an intonation. That's why there are rhythms. Kasi yung stresses and unstressed, kung makita niyo mamaya, nagke-create siya ng regular rhythm or beats. Tama. May mga particular words dito na ini-stress ako at may mga particular words na hindi. Pakinggan nyo lang ako Tignan nyo na meron akong words na ini-stress. When you say stress, you emphasize, the word. Okay. Observe me as I read the poem. And tignan nyo kung saan ako nag-i-stress at nag-unstress ng words. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the sweet earth's flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. So, for example, nag-i-stress ako sa word na sea at saka sa tree. Ganon din sa sa poem na words, no? But in certain words, I don't stress it, no? Since it will exude the rhythm. It will be irrelevant. No, not irrelevant. No, because every word matters in a poem. Basta, you need to unstress certain words to emphasize the rhythm of your poetry. Yeah. Now, here we come na. Dito na papasok yung rhyme scheming natin. Ngayon, tuturuan ko kayo kung ano nga ba yung rhyme scheme. Okay? Excuse me. Now, for example, etong poem na to is a quatrain, di ba? Quatrain kasi 1, 2, 3, 4. Apat yung line in a stanza. Now, Ano yung rhyme scheme? Sabi dito, as far as the um as far as the excuse me, as far as the definition here, as you can see, it is a pattern in which end rhyme occurs.
Alonso, where are you?
Okay. Ano yung end rhymes? Ito oh. Para may ano kayo. Fuck. Sorry. Wall. Fall. Wait. Bay natin kulay para go. Men. Again. Now, if we're gonna label it by letters, A, B, C, D rhyming. Rhyme scheming, no? Now, rhymes are types of poems which have the repetition of the same or similar sounds. Again, sinabi lang ulit yung meaning ng rhymes. Okay? Yung technique na to, ito yung nakakapagpadali sa mga nursery rhymes na tinatawag. Bakit? Babasahin ko tong Humpty Dumpty ha. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Kung ulit-ulitin mo siya kung sa utak mo, makakabisado mo siya within 2 minutes. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Why? Bakit natin siya naaalala agad? Because of the rhyme scheme na ginamit dito ni author or ni poet. Nilabelan natin yung mga nagra-rhyme ha. So this is rhyme A. Wait. This is A. A din to. Sorry, pangit eh. Ako yung mouse eh. That is rhyme A. This two here is A. So that two lines, that 1 and 2 lines, no? Fuck. Sorry. Tao lang. Mali.
Wait.
Wait. Line 1 and line 2 should rhyme. Wait.
Come on, Zumba.
Hihirapan ako parang matanda. Ayan. So line 1 and line 2 should rhyme. At the end, rhyme. Ayan na. At the end, rhyme. Again. And rhyme. Emphasis ko lang yung meaning ng rhyme scheme. Pattern, siya yung pattern. Yung paulit-ulit. Na dapat nagra-rhyme sa ending. On this case, wall and fall. Dito naman sa line 4 and 5, 4 and 5, 3 and 4, here, let's label it para mas madali. 3 and 4. Sila naman, si rhyme B. Shucks. Hindi ako nakakamay. Sorry guys. Sorry. I'm struggling physically. B. This is B. Okay? That is rhyme B. So these two together are B. Now, that is their rhyme scheme. Ano yung rhyme scheme nila, Abby? BB. Therefore, yan yung magiging rhyme scheme nila for throughout the poem. Okay? Example. The one who brought me down to earth and held me every day. The one who gracefully gave me birth and said I love you in every way. The one who taught me everything, like to crawl and walk. The one who taught me how to sing after learning how to talk. Now, anong rhyme scheme nito? Can anyone comment the rhyme scheme of this poem? I'm giving you a minute to give me the rhyme scheme of this poem, the one. Ano yung rhyme scheme? Di ba kanina sabi ko, paano yung ending nila? Nagra-rhyme. Di ba? Tinitignan natin yung ending words. So, ang naging rhyme scheme nila, A, B, B. Kasi AA, wall, fall, AA. Men and again, BB. Therefore, AA, BB. Now, please give me the rhyme scheme of this poem. Di ba yung Ponzi is an investment scheme? Who's this Asher? At least nag-joke siya. Anyways. Okay? Anong sabi nila? A, B, C, D, C, B. Okay, very good. You got it all right. The rhyme is as follows. Shit, ang pangit naman. I'm just gonna erase it. Ay, shock po. Sorry. It's anger acting up. Sorry. A, B, C, D, C, D. Sorry, hindi ako makapagsuot na maayos kasi naka-nail extensions ako ngayon. So, magpasensya nyo lang yung sulat ko, intindihin na lang natin yung tao. So yeah, yung mga nakalagay sa chat box is tama. The rhyme scheme for this poem is A, B, C, D, C, D. Now, I will explain. Can somebody explain why? Or no? Okay. If there's no one who could raise their hands, I will explain. A, B. Now, if we can see, let's start with A. A, Earth. The first A is Earth. It rhymes with, of course, birth. Again, ang rhyme scheme, tinitignan yung end rhyme. Sabi ni Sandro Abraham. Yes, para siyang pattern. Yes, because it is a pattern. You've got it right because it is a pattern. No? If we can go back, pattern in which end rhyme occurs. Na nag-occur daw, nangyayari sa end rhyme. Eh, ang end rhyme dyan, ang tinatawag na end rhyme, yung katapusang word. Ito. Here. Earth. Birth. Okay? That is AA. Pero, nasa gitna nila si Day, tsaka si Way. That is BB. Okay? Because, if you can see, it rhymes. Day, Way. Earth, birth. Because that two words, itong day and way, they rhyme. Earth and birth, it rhymes, diba? Next. C. Everything, sing. They rhyme again, diba? Because of the syllable, no, of how we stress the word. Everything and sing. Everything, sing, diba? That is rhyme C. Rhyme scheme CC. Now walk. Walk and talk. They rhyme, diba? Okay, that is DD. Now, it is alternating. Okay? Alternating 14. Kasi, wala lang space, pero 14 siya. Here. Magkakahiwalay yan. Here, kasama yan sila sa isang 14. Alternating 14 siya. May nagsagot kanina ang alternating, alternating? Oh, sorry kung nahi-hate mo yung lesson. Si Ralph John Cacho. Sorry. I'm just... Very good, Mika. You got the point right. Sabi niya nag-rhyme yung 2, A, which are earth and birth. Same sa B, C, and D. Very good. That's a good observation because that's the meaningful, or that is the simplest way in which I can explain rhyme scheme. Okay? Paano pa ganito? Hindi siya nagra-rhyme lahat. Dito, hindi siya nagra-rhyme, right? Like clever, kind, talented, cute, sensitive, wise, perfect, truth. It doesn't rhyme at all. Can anybody tell me the rhyme scheme, or will we incorporate rhyme scheming here? Hmm? Very good. Iba-iba yung letter na corresponding, therefore, hindi siya nagra-rhyme. Pero it doesn't mean na hindi po siya isang tula. Tell me I'm clever, tell me I'm kind, tell me I'm talented, tell me I'm cute, tell me I'm sensitive, graceful, and wise, tell me I'm perfect, but tell me the truth. It still has that creative manner of using words in expressing your emotions. Therefore, dito, walang rhyme scheme. May rhyme scheme. Ito yun rhyme scheme na tawag. Pero hindi lang siya katulad nito. Okay? Am I clear? So, if there's any mistake in what I say, feel free to correct me, everyone, because I'm also a person. I make mistakes. So, if there's any objections in the way I present the information, kindly raise your hands and correct me. I stand corrected. Ayun. So, yeah. I'm open into your suggestions. Thank you. Now, next, we have naman the alliteration. Wait, let me drink some water. So again, then ayun, tapos na tayo sa stanza, rhyme scheme. Now we have alliteration. Ewan ko ba't bumaba yung N yan, pero it's alliteration. Alliteration, like alliteration. Yan. It's what you call alliteration. Now, it is another element of a poetry. Oh, shucks. Lumapon yung gatas. Wait lang. So, alliteration, when you say alliteration, everyone, alliteration is the repetition of consonant. Alam niyo ba yung consonant? Can anyone tell me what a consonant is? Anyone from the meeting under the chat box? Can you tell me what a consonant is? Can you give me an example of a consonant? Very good. Very good. Very good, Reka. Letters except a, e, I, o, u. Because that is what you call vowels. So consonants are B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, and so on and so forth. Very good. So that is consonants. Yung pagpapaulit-ulit ng consonant at the beginnings of words. Like ito, Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled pepper. Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled peppers. This is not a poem, ah. This is what you call a tongue twister. So here, they incorporated an alliteration. Okay? I'm gonna give you, wait, let me just, alt-tab tayo. So I'm gonna give you an alliterated An alliterated poem. Okay. Then tell me, kung alin dito yung consonant na paulit-ulit. This is, guys, this is a very, this small exercise is kaya ng grade 7. So, kaya natin to lahat. So, yeah. Here, can you tell me what consonant is repeating? A consonant that has a repetition. Letter P. Naka-present Letter P ba? Okay, can I hear from Acel? She raised the hand.
Letter S po.
Very good. And can you tell the other people in the meeting why it's letter S?
Letter S po siya since yung first line po, she sells seashells by the seashore. So, marami po siyang S na, marami po siyang word na nagsisimula sa letter S. The next line po, the shells she sells are seashells, I'm sure. Then, ganun din po katulad sa line and so on so forth.
Very good, Acel. Let's give her a clap. So, yeah. Thank you for that answer, Acel. You gave a good insight. So now you get what alliteration is. Simply, yung pagpapaulit-ulit lang ng letters except a, e, i, o, u. No? At the beginning of words. Okay? That is alliteration. Pagpapaulit-ulit lang ng consonants at the beginning of words. Kunwari, loser. Loser lost. Losers lost a leap. Parang ganon. Alliteration tawag doon kasi inuulit natin yung consonant na L. Next, we have onomatopoeia. It's pronounced onomatopoeia, not onomatopoeia, not onomatopoeia. It's onomatopoeia. Okay? It's pronounced as onomatopoeia. These are words used to represent particular sound. Crash, boom, bang, zip. Can you give me an example of a word na nagre-represent sa sound? For example, yap. Yapping. Crash, crashing. Boom, bang, zip. Buzz, beep. Very good. Ano pa? TikTok. Sino ba itong Asher? Napaka-unserious mo, girl. Wala, natatawa lang ako, pero go. Cling. Boogs. Boogs is a good one. That's very witty. Boogs. Splash. Very good, everyone. Natawa ko dun sa boogs because it is really a kind of onomatopoeia. It's, ayun, good. So, onomatopoeia. Words used to represent particular sounds. Kaboogs. I don't think that's a sound anymore. I think that's a slang. But thank you, Darren. Thank you, Darren, for your insight. So yeah, that's onomatopoeia. It is a word used to represent a particular sound. Okay? Next. Kasi minsan ginagamit rin siya sa mga poem. Diba? The way I hear the crash. Diba parang, there are poems that utilize the use of onomatopoeia. Now, the most important part of a poetry is the imagery. Imagery, the representation of the five senses. You emphasize kasi minsan, you invoke, no? You invoke the feelings. You invoke your five senses sometimes in a poetry. In a poetry, you invoke the five senses. Okay? Excuse me. Sorry. So yeah, imagery is used to represent the five senses: sight, taste, touch, sound, and smell. Because you use words. You use words. You use words, everyone, to represent these five senses, which is the sight, taste, touch, sound, and the smell. Okay? It creates a mental image about the poem subject, okay? It's all about that. Therefore, that is imagery. It is utilized in poetry. Now, there are kinds of imagery. Again, sabi ko kanina, yung five senses, di ba? Sight, taste, touch, sound, and smell. Now, there is a visual imagery in which a poem utilizes an imagery to invoke what the author sees. Okay? Visual descriptions so vivid they seem to come to life in the reader's minds when they are read. In the description of a very old fish in Elizabeth Bishop's poem entitled "The Fish." So in this poem, Elizabeth Bishop actually utilized visual imagery to vividly describe what is the visual description of the fish that she sees here. Imagine what Elizabeth, imagine what she visualizes through this description. Ito yung description ng fish. Here and there, his brown skin hung in strips, like ancient wallpaper, and its pattern of darker brown was like a wallpaper, shapes like full-blown roses, strained and lost through age. So we can see that there is also a lot of symbolisms here, which we will tackle later on. But may I invoke each and every one to imagine the fish she is seeing. It has a brown skin. It has scales, of course. Ancient wallpaper. Therefore, tuyo na siguro ng isda. It's a pattern of darker brown. Darker brown, therefore, it's not fresh. No? Shapes like full-blown roses. May kulubot. Strained and lost through age. It means, dried fish yung kanyang dinedescribe. O, di ba? Nakuha niyo yung visual imagery na ginamit. Hello? Di ba? Just by seeing through the poem, you can see kung ano yung nakikita ni Elizabeth Bishop, isang dried fish. Why? Brown skin, like ancient wallpaper. Darker, may pattern na darker brown, parang wallpaper. Tapos shapes like full-blown roses, may kulubot. Strained and lost through age. Through age, lost through age. It means matanda na. Therefore, it's a dried fish. See how a poem can vividly describe. So that is what we call visual imagery. Now we have the auditory imagery. Kulit ni Asher. Sino ba to? Anyways. Auditory imagery, it is naman what the reader seems almost to hear. It describes what the author is hearing. Okay? Auditory. Audio. Auditory imagery, from the word itself, dapat may idea na kayo, na ang poem na to is describing a sound, what he hears, what he or she hears. I'll read it. The sound must seem an echo to the sense. Soft is the strain when zephyr gently bows, and the smooth stream is smoother numbers flow. But when the loud surges lash the sounding shore, he is describing the sound of waves crashing sa shore. Okay? Therefore, ang na-emphasize mo kasi dito, ano yung tunog ni Alexander Pope? Siya yung author na tong poem na example. He used auditory imagery to vividly describe the thing he hears, which is waves crashing in the shore. So that is auditory imagery. We have images of smell or olfactory imagery. Olfactory imagery or images of smell. You describe what you smell, okay? I won't read it anymore since you have the idea. You'll get the idea because the images of smell or olfactory imagery is using words describing what the poet is smelling at the time he wrote it or at the time he wanna write it. So that is images of smell. Next, here is the tactile or the physical imagery. Here naman, you use the sense of touch. You describe what they look like physically, diba? And each description or each detail of the object or thing you are describing in the poem is described physically. No, it can be imagined through the sense of touch. That is tactile or physical imagery. Now, do you get? No, tapos na tayo doon. Tapos na tayo sa elements of poetry. There is what you call the stanza, rhyme scheme, alliteration, onomatopoeia, and imagery. There is visual imagery, auditory imagery, and olfactory imagery. Now, tactile imagery, again, physical imagery. Now, we have the types of poetry. Wait. So, yeah. So, there are different kinds of poetry. Now, there is a type of poetry or the tone or mood. Nagre-refer siya sa attitude towards the subject. Ano yung attitude ni writer about a particular subject? Kung ano yung sinusulat niya. Ano ko may example dito eh? Wala. Ayan. So, dito lang naman sa tone or mood, simple lang makapag-identify kapag yung poem sounds like it's giving the author's mood or tone. Angry, sad, happy, diba? Silliness, frustration, puzzlement. If it emphasizes those moods, while you read it, you feel angry. While you read it, you feel happy. While you read it, you feel the sadness. Therefore, it is a poetry of tone or mood. Next, simple na lang to guys. Ano na lang siya, madali na lang siya. Now, we have the repetition. It is a word or phrase repeated within the line or stanza. Nagre-repeat ka naman dito ng mga words or phrases. Sometimes, repetition reinforces or even substitutes for meter. The other chief controlling factor of a poetry. Sa repetition, magre-repeat ka lang ng words. For example, shucks, with ganun. Yeah. Doesn't go. Ayan. An example of repetition is this. My nose is a leaky faucet. My nose, a leaky faucet has a drip, drip, drip. I wipe it so it won't land on my lip, lip, lip. I think that I'm allergic to all weeds, 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 and long-haired cats and vegetables with seeds, seeds, seeds. This is just an example of a repetition in poetry. Again, you repeat a word lang. Yun yung repetition. I-repeat mo lang yung word to create a rhythm or a metric beat. Next. Uy. Ba yun? We have a theme. Of course, almost all poetry has a central theme. No, yung central idea. But a theme can be anything from a description about a person or thing, a thought, or even a story. In short, a theme stands for whatever the poem is about. Let's say, I forgot the title, but the poem of Rizal, para sa aking mga kababata ba yun? Or something like that. Basta yung tula ni Rizal, ang theme niya is all about loyalty. No? And Mi Ultimo Adios, Rizal's last bid of farewell, has a central theme about saying goodbye. But mostly it's a tone, no? So yeah, a theme is a kind of poem in which a theme is the central idea. Ano yung flow ng poem mo? Ano yung tinatalakay niya? Meron siyang tinatalakay na certain idea, certain thing na gustong i-convey ng poet. Okay? That is a theme or that is the theme, tema. Diba? That is theme, okay? Next, of course, we all know that poetry incorporates a lot of symbolisms. Di ba? We all know that symbolisms gives way for a deeper interpretation by the reader. Okay? You read not solely because you're gonna take everything literally. Hindi nililiteral minsan ang poetry. Sometimes there are hidden meanings between those lines. And you as a reader has a responsibility whatsoever to know what's the meaning of those words. For example, sleep is often related to death. Okay? Waters, purification yan palagi. Okay? Forest, maybe minsan challenge yan. Darkness associated with evil. Okay? The moon, minsan love yan, di ba? Ano ba yung famous dati na ano? It's a Japanese saying eh. It's all about the moon being a symbol of love for a person. If you can say, I love you directly, you can say that the moon is beautiful tonight, isn't it? So, symbolism has a rich connection with poems. Because it will create this creative and distinctive style of imagination through the readers. Okay? Now, there are different types of poetry. So na yun. Yung lyrical, narrative, dramatic, at special types. Okay? Now, the types of poetry are classified into four. There is the lyrical, narrative, dramatic, and special types. What is the lyrical? Ito yung nag-express ka ng personal thoughts mo and emotions. It is a short poems na may characteristics ng isang kanta. It pertains a single mood. Isa lang yung mood niya throughout. Kunwari, happy lang siya mula umpisa hanggang dulo. Lyrical, no? It conveys a particular mood. Ano yung kinds of lyrical poetry? We have the sonnet or sonata, no? Sonnet means from the word sonetto, which means little song in Italian. Meron lang siyang 14 lines. And yung 14 lines na yon, nagpa-follow siya ng strict lines. A strict pattern of rhyme, okay? Naka-classify yung sonnet into four. Merong Petrarchan mula kay Francesco Petrarca, isa siyang Italian poet. Merong Shakespearean, isa sa mga kilalang sonnet writer, si Shakespeare, William Shakespeare. Isa siyang English poet mula sa court ni Queen Elizabeth I. We have the Spenserian mula kay Edmund Spenser, isa rin siyang English poet. Pati si Miltonic Sonnets mula kay John Milton. No, isa rin siyang English poet. Now, this classification of sonnets is really hard to grasp. So, hindi ko na siya isasama ngayon dahil hindi naman siya majorly covered in the test as I heard and as I have read. So, you just need to grasp the general elements of the poetry. Here. Sonnet 116, one of the famous poets by Shakespeare. Ayan. Next, elegy. In Tagalog, elehiya. It's all about death. No, elegy. It's all about the poem of death. It tackles everything about death, either sorrow, grief, melancholy. To express mourning and lament, you use elegy. No, ang tawag sa tula na nagtatalakay about death and sorrows is elegy. Example of elegy is Lycidas by John Milton. Okay? Okay, ibabasahin ko sa inyo. Yet once more, O ye laurels, and once more, ye myrtles brown, with ivy never sere, I come to pluck your berries harsh and crude. With forced fingers rude, shatter your lips before the mellowing year. Bitter constraint and sad occasion, dear, compels me to disturb your season due. For Lycidas is dead, dead ere his prime. Ayun. So it tackles all about death. Okay? So that is elegy. Ode is the praise naman to. Oda. O, ano rin, ode to joy, di ba? Tama ba yung ode to joy? I-correct me if I'm not mistaken, pero alam mo yun. Yung most famous ode kasi, yung tinatawag nating ode to joy. Kay Beethoven siya. Wait. Ode to Joy. So, ode is a poem na nag-express ng dignity and praises. It exalts. No? Ang tone niya, exaltation. Pumupuri siya. That is an ode. So, usually you hear an ode in churches, no? Because they ode to God, mostly. Because it dignifies and praises a person, an object, an event, or an idea. Diba? So that is an ode, to give praise. So here, example of ode. It gives praises to a Grecian urn. Yeah, so I won't read it since madali na lang din siyang i-grasp. Next, we have narrative poetry. Therefore, narrative poetry tells what does a narrative poetry tell? Can anyone tell me in the chat box? So, interactive tayo. Very good. A story or narrating. Okay, very good. So a narrative poetry tells a story. Okay, that is the general idea. Okay, yun yun. It narrates. It describes an event using elements of short story, may character, may dialogue. Now, ano yung types of narrative poetry? There is an epic or epico. Okay? Alam natin, maraming sikat na epic sa Pilipinas. Kalimutan ko yung isa. From Bicol yun eh. I forgot. Epico. Basta, epico is all about a hero or an adventure. Most epics are oral stories or written form. Kasi may dalawang klase ng epic. First is the popular or ancient poetry. There is no definite author. Slow yung development niya because pasalin-salin siya orally. That is a popular or ancient poetry, which is an epic. Modern epic poetry, meron siyang definite author. But it is not usually used by certain poets because writing an epic is challenging because it tells a narrative poem about a hero or an adventure. Ayun. Example. There are 5 greatest examples of an epic poem. Ito, maganda to, yung Beowulf. Okay? Nabasa ko na tong Beowulf na to. It's all about this English heroic epic. Okay? The story sets in Denmark and Sweden. No? So, medyo Nordic yung ano niya, yung Nordic origins. Beowulf. You pronounce it Beowulf. Next, Metamorphosis by Ovid. Ito, meron na siyang author. The Odyssey by Homer. Another may author na naman. Ito, feel ko familiar kayo dito, yung Epic of Gilgamesh. I believe it's in the Filipino curriculum of grade 10. If I remember it right. Yeah. Si Gilgamesh, di ba? So, it's an epic from ancient Mesopotamia. And the one of the recognized to be the earliest form of literary fiction. Next, we have a ballad. A ballad naman is like epic poems. However, it's all about naman a legend or a folktale. Okay? Ang ballad naman kasi is based on a legend. Ano ba yung legend? It's about exaggerating a person's life, or basta it's an exaggerated form of telling a story through legendary means. Ayun. Most ballads are written in 4 to 6 stanzas. Okay? And has regular rhythms and rhyme schemes. A ballad often features a refrain, a regular repeated line or group of lines. Alam ko may refrain kanina dito eh. Oh. So that is what you call a ballad. It tells a story like epic or poems. So that is just a ballad. Madali lang ballad. It's just telling a story based siya sa legend or folktale. I'll give you an example. Do you know Mulan? I think yeah. The original story of Mulan is from a ballad. The Ballad of Mulan. It's all about a girl who became a general in the Chinese army in the Tang or Song dynasty. So, may idea na kayo kung ano yung ballad. It's based on legends. Next. Next type of narrative poetry is a social. So it's all about social poem is all about picturing the life of today or tragedies. Ang aim ng social poem is to bring changes on certain social conditions. For example, a poem about women, a poem about LGBTQIA+, a poem about divorce. Those are social conditions in which a poetry is utilized as a medium of conveying a message. For example, this poem is written by Ayesha Islam on International Women's Day. Why is it a social poem? Because it tackles about the hardships of women in a patriarchal society. Okay? That is a kind of narrative poetry. Now we have dramatic poetry. Dramatic poetry has a dramatic technique na ginagamit. For example, it uses dialogues. Okay? It emphasizes the character rather than the narrative. It has elements closely related to a drama. No? Merong story na sinusundan, but ang ine-emphasize niya is character. Again, ito, dramatic monologue. Another kind of a dramatic poetry. A combination to ng drama at ng poetry. It presents some line or speech of a single character in a particular but complicated situations, sometimes in a dilemma. Minsan, ang poetry is isang sagutan or isang monologue ng sarili mo, sa sarili mo. Okay? Dramatic, mono, from the word mono, single, no? Monologue, which means only one character is in a complicated situation or a personal dilemma in which he or she talks to himself or herself through the poem. Next. Shucks. Uy. We have soliloquy. Soliloquy siya. Hindi siya soliloquy. Soliloquy. The speaker of the poem or the character in a play delivers a passage. Meron siyang deliver na line. The thoughts and emotions are heard by the author and the audience as well. Kunwari, let's say si Aisha, there is a poem about her. Then, the message or the passage, the character which is played by Aisha, is the thoughts and emotions of the character. It's not just about what he sees, what he hears, or what she feels, but rather what is she thinking and what is she feeling. That is soliloquy. The thoughts and emotions of the character in the poem is heard by the author and the audience. Okay? It is intended that the feelings and the thoughts of the character is heard by the audience. That is soliloquy. Next. Oration. Oration, simply, ito yung formal address, elevated in tone, and usually delivered on some notable occasion. Or speech. Ito yung tatag na speech. Hindi natin yan i-delve, no? Seriously. Another, hindi naman din to kailangan masyado. Now, may special types of poems. Ano to? Kung alam niyo yung haiku, ito yung 5, yung rule na 5, 7, 5. 5 na pantig, 7 pantig, 5 pantig. Kunwari, masaya ka ba? 5. Sa iyong mga gawa. 7. Balikan natin, masaya ka ba? Okay? So that is 575. Kasi ganun yung bibilangin mo yung syllables or pantig. That is haiku. It is a Japanese form of poetry. Sadaan na lang natin to since hindi naman siya generally tackled. Yan. Example. Furuike ya. 5. Kawazu to bikomu. 7. Then mizo no oto. Furuike ya kawazu to bikomu. Then mizo no oto. Okay, that is a Japanese poem, which is a haiku. Next. Another special kind of poetry is a cinquain. Diba? Quartain, couplet, tercets, quartain, may cinquain. Ito na yung 5-line. 5 na yung linya niya. So I think may idea na kayo kung ano siya. It's called cinquain. Cinq. From the French word cinq. French number yan eh. Cinq. Yan. Cinq. Alam ko 50 yan sa French eh. Or mali ako ng pagkakaalala. Basta cinq is a French word. Then quain. Cinquain. Therefore, 5 lines. Yan. 5 verses na siya. Wait. Ay. Say sample. Ayaw niya mag-next kasi it is a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look up. from the bleakening hills. Bow down the light, first breath of winter wind, look up and scent the snow. 5 lines siya. This is what you call a cinquain. Because we have a 5 line. Now, of course, meron din tayo tinatag na free verse. This is the most liberated form of poem. It consists of many lines as the writer wants, and there is no fixed pattern. No? Minsan tinatawag siyang poem with no rules. Malayang tula. Okay? Free verse. Sample. Ayaw niya mag-next na maayos. Feelings. Now, some kind of attraction that is neither animal, vegetable, nor mineral. A power not solar, fusion, or magnetic. And it is all in my head that I could see into his and finding myself sitting here. There is no rhyming whatsoever, no? So therefore, it is a free verse. May rhyming siya, pero wala siyang conclusive pattern. Unlike yung mga naunang tula. Next. Ito yung tinatawag nating name poem. Alam mo yung gagawa ka ng kunwari? Abby. Ha? B. Each letter gagawa ka ng rhyming dapat. A. An apple a day. B. Ganon. Example ng ng name poem. Taylor. Taylor. Taylor likes each sentiment to be appropriate to its own time and place. Years may roll like waves across her shore, leaving none of what there was before, obliterating every sign of grace. Reason not, says Taylor with C. So, ayun, that is name poem. Okay? Now, that's just, patutsada lang sa special kind of poems. And I think that ends our discussion all about poetry. So, thank you for those who stayed. That's the end of it. So, we finish at 8:12. So, we finish at 8:12. So, thank you for those who stayed with us today. So, my next discussion would be next week. Biology and properties of life. So, see you there.